What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, D-End-All commentary. I'm trying to get some non-shadows because people have been saying, hey, a little too many shadows being played in these DN commentaries, which I can understand that. Like, I'm not even mad about that because from what I've seen on Dueling Network, I want to say Nekroz is the most played deck, and then shadows are kind of cemented as like number 2, temporarily anyway. But right now I would say that they're definitely the second most played deck, even more than Satellarknights, more than Cleefort. So you see Gary 90 open up with a very strong opening. Oh my god, it's like he's playing my deck. This is generally what you want to do against Nekroz. You want to open with Tsukuyomi. If you have anti-spell fragrance, even better, it just sets them back. But if they have a Mystical Space Typhoon or a Twister, then there's none really you can do about it unless you have another one. You're not going to be in a position where you can play Alpha Nova, because if you play Tsukuyomi, you obviously have no S-Knight on board. The only way you could have used Alpha Nova, which I'm going to assume he doesn't have, is if you would have, like, Call of the Haunted. Oh, well, okay, there you go. Call of the Haunted in the what's it called? Like in the draw phase. Now, if he has Alpha Nova, I'm not quite sure why he didn't use Call of the Haunted in the draw phase, because either that would have baited out the MST or he would have let it ride, and then when he tried the MST, the anti-spell, you would have used Alpha Nova on that. So it is an S-Knight versus Nekroz matchup. I'm going to say with 2 back row, I'm going to have to give the advantage right now to S-Knights, simply because, again, they play real legitimate traps, tons of them, and if Tsukuyomi lives through this turn, assuming that he doesn't have Unicorn, he'll just be able to make more advantage. It's going to be very difficult for him to clear his entire board, or for him to really take everything down. Like, it's kind of like Trishula or bust, maybe Exiton or bust, but those are the main 2 cards you want to use. So you see him throw out a Nekroz cycle, which is weird, cost Sharit and pretty much get that shit done. So he says he's thinking. The only thing I could think that he would be thinking about is maybe using an MST, which honestly he probably should have used on Call of the Haunted. So I'm not really sure what else he can do, but it's weird to see somebody fire out Nekroz cycle as the first spell, and it looks like he is going to MST. If that's Alpha Nova, he'll definitely chain. It's Regeki. Okay. I've been known to do that. You set your spells. Obviously when what's it called? When you're using Tsukuyomi, because you don't want to lose them. Alright, so I guess he'll try and summon Trishula by using the Nekroz of, what's it called? The Nekroz Mirror. So yeah, that makes sense. He'll summon Trishula using the Nekroz Mirror, but I'm gonna guess he'll have to get rid of Deneb, because if you miss the Altair, you're in a fucking bad situation. And then he'll attack the Tsukuyomi. Alright, so let's see what he gets. He gets the Altair. Oh, okay, good position. I don't expect him to be able to do much of a follow-up, except maybe just attacking with the Tsuki, or attacking the Tsukuyomi. Alright, so he's going to banish the anti-spell fragrance. I think the graveyard was kind of irrelevant there. Let's see what he can do. Now, depending on what is in Gary 90's hand will kind of determine how this duel goes. Looks like he's going to attack. Okay, he attacks the Altair. I don't agree with that at all. I really, really don't agree with it. You have to understand, Tsukuyomi is, they call it a Haunted, should die too, by the way. Tsukuyomi is not stronger than Trishula, but you don't want to give your opponent like 2 more cards. You don't want your opponent using Tsukuyomi multiple times. That card is way too good, because if he has any dead monsters, he'll throw them away to get good shit. He'll use the Tsukuyomi's effect. That's a guarantee. It doesn't matter what is in his hand, he'll use it. So he gets rid of Unu to draw 2 more cards. And the thing is, like, 1 card in Satellarknights can turn into, it can turn into an Altair and get the whole thing restarted. So he ends up top decking a Rhoda off of the draws. I think that was a mistake for him to let him have the Tsukuyomi, I think, was a mistake. I don't want my opponent potentially seeing 3 cards And I'm expecting him to probably go 101 now. Get rid of the Trishula. Oh, wait. No, go Rhapsody of Berserk. It just dawned on me. You can go Rhapsody of Berserk. You can get rid of, both your opponent's spells, and then you can just put Tsukuyomi in attack mode, and Tsukuyomi will be 3,000 attack. So it's like you cover all the outs, basically. You cover the Trishula, and you cover the mirrors. That's the play I think I would have done. I would have rather taken that over the draw, personally. Unless you already had Mirror Force or Fiendish Chain or something like that. But I think going Rhapsody of Berserk was the better play. But that's just my opinion. We'll see what has to happen here. Top deck's a Manju. That's met with Effect Veiler. Okay, no plays there. So whatever that card was in his hand last turn is still there. Let's say if he has like a Mirror Force or something. If not, then he should have done the Rhapsody play. I mean, maybe you could say he wouldn't have had the Effect Veiler then, but yeah, I guess that depends. Did he have the Effect Veiler or not? Because if you do that Rhapsody play, man, the Trishula is already dead. Because it can't attack over your dude. And then you get rid of all their mirrors too. Because he has, Cycle and Mirror in the graveyard. But again, that would depend on if you had the Veiler or not. Because if you didn't have the Veiler, then this might be a better play. And then, again, one of those sets could easily be like Mirror Force. So, I mean, I'm never going to fault somebody for drawing like 3 cards in a turn. I mean, especially in Satellarknights, a deck that doesn't even play draw power. So is he flipping for like a blind MST or something? Wow, he just passed turn. And you know what? I think that Effect Veiler may have just given him 3 cards. So, okay, I guess he doesn't have the 3 cards that he needs. Obviously going into battle phase. Oh, you know what? Oh my goodness, I've been commentating this entire time. I have not told you guys the players. M. Lewis, Merchant, 1052, Free Gary 90. 1368. Those are your combatants. Those are the players. So I'm thinking that Lewis may have been, he was afraid of Mirror Force. That's like the only reason he didn't attack. And unfortunately, him not attacking may have just cost him a bit because it allowed Free Gary 90 to get to his Altair. Granted, nothing would have changed, but now he can not only Castel / 101 your dude, but you still leave him the Tsukuyomi on board, which you could have killed 2 turns ago had you attacked, but he must have been afraid of Mirror Force. Now you see him not going for the Tsukuyomi play. Or excuse me, the Castel play. Now sometimes that's a good thing. Like if you don't have legitimate defense, don't go for that play because then they can just use their mirrors and shit. But what you want is, like, even if he attacks the Altair, you can still Altair again next turn, and then you can go for Trevor, or you may have like a Call to Haunted play or something like better than the play that you're going to do. So it's really not that big of a disadvantage to hold tight and leave them with the Trishula. Because if you have multiple monsters, one Trishula is not going to kill you. But if like you kill the Trishula and then they Trish you again and then something like Gunir in the same turn, that shit might kill you. So you see him activate Dark Hole. Okay, he must have just wanted to get value out of Dark Hole, I guess. Once again, he's going with the Altair play for Deneb. You'll probably see an attack, and considering he's already used Tsukuyomi and Daigusto Emerald, I would expect, depending on what his hand is, I would probably expect a Rhapsody of Berserk. And to keep it 100 with you, I think I'd actually remove Trishula. Just because when you kill Trishula, you deal with the threat for the whole game. I was at the regional, one of the players, oh wow, I guess he's not. I guess he just doesn't run Rhapsody of Berserk. One of the players, his name is Hiromio240 on here. He was like, he's like, any chance that you get, he was like, Rhapsody to Trishula, because then you don't have to worry about it for the entire game. And like everything else just dies to Mirror Force. You know what I mean? Like everything else in the Nekroz deck just dies to Mirror Force. But Trishula, like, can not only kill the Mirror Force, but then he's just fucking real. You know what I mean? Like Trishula is such a fucking strong card that you don't want to have to worry about getting summoned on you again. So it looks like he banished the Trishula of his own volition. So I guess either way it got banished. He goes for Kaleidoscope. I'm just kind of surprised that Gary 90 hasn't been exceeding, despite the fact that he like doesn't really seem to have defensive cards. So we're going to see what he's going to do here. I mean, maybe he's sitting on a Nova. Maybe he's sitting on, I doubt he has Mind Crush. Otherwise, he probably would have flipped it over and instantly called Unicore. But we haven't seen a Fiendish Chain or Mirror Force, a Bottomless, any of that stuff. That's a little surprising. But with Trishula out of the duel, like, Satellarknights get much better. Alright, so he uses Alpha Nova. I didn't even see it hit the graveyard. He still has Nekroz Cycle and Nekroz Mirror that he can use this turn. Although, I mean, most of the time when you use Cycle, like, the card that you want to use is, like, Trishula, and that's not gonna happen unless he plays 2 Trishulas. Oh lord, he sets a card. That's never a good sign for the deck. He calls Altair, which honestly he might not even have. Let's see, maybe he has multiples. But I mean, he searched Unu. I'm guessing all his Altairs are in his graveyard. Yeah. So he ends up losing. Oh, I guess he's scooping. Okay. I guess he's scooping then. I mean, I don't understand the call for Altair. I mean, I guess you think it's going to do big damage, but I don't know. You put everything on a Mind Crush? So it looks like he had Anti-Spell Fragrance, Rota, I know Unu, and what was the last card? Oh, Effect Veiler. Oh, he was in pretty good shape then. Granted, he did have the MST. I'm not really sure what Gary 90 would have done in this turn. He probably just would have summoned Unu. I don't even know if he would have dumped anything. He probably just would have tried to do as much damage as possible. Oh, no, excuse me. What he would have done was he would have searched Vega, and then he would have went Vega Unu, and he would have attacked with everybody into the back row, and then if he didn't respond, he would have obviously went Trevor. If he would have used the MST on the back row, then he would have set Anti-Spell Fragrance, and that pretty much would have been a wrap from there. He wouldn't have been able to ritual summon for a very long time, and even then, he still had a Effect Veiler. So I'm gonna say that Gary 90 was gonna win regardless of the failed Mind Crush or not. Thank you guys for watching as always.